Hey everyone, welcome to the results video of the Mario Kart contest. Now in this contest everybody had to make a park with 4 go-kart tracks in the Mario Kart style. And also in this round we had some custom items available. So basically the Mario and Friends set. It's just some characters from the Mario universe like Piranha Plant, Mario, Luigi, Mario, Bowser, Yoshi's, and some others. And I also enabled stuff like this Twomp, like it's actually animated, Shy Guy, some shells, item boxes. Well, basically all kinds of stuff you would find in Mario Kart. Anyway, since people had to make 4 go-kart tracks and heavily decorate them, this round was much tougher than most of the other contests we had so far. So that's also why in the end we only had 10 entries. But that's actually good for this video, so then I can actually spend some more time just highlighting all the details that you can find in all the entries. Anyway, I will start at the one that got 10th place, and then I'll finish with the one that got 1st place. Alright, here we have the entry that got 10th place. This one was made by Trumavarium. Yeah, he really didn't have much time. You can see here that's in year 2019, but that's obviously edited. I think he said he spent like 3 or 4 hours on it, and that's clearly visible in this entry. I first wasn't gonna accept it, but since we got a low amount of entries, I decided to accept it anyway in the end. So yeah, here we have a kart track. I think this is Rainbow Road. But yeah, it's very bare. I guess it looks like the Rainbow Road from one of the earlier games from the Super Nintendo. Here we have a go-kart track that's partly on a really bare castle with a little part on the beach. He also put some of these flying saucers here to act as, it's really called hinder. Probably should have called it crab or something. Here's a circular go-kart track, also not very impressive. And here's one of the battle stages from the Super Nintendo. That's actually quite cool. Anyway, since this entry is so bare bones, I will just now skip to the next one. Alright, in 9th place we have this entry from Herbart. Well, obviously the thing you will first see is this big cruise ship. I think it was supposed to look like the Daisy's cruise ship. Of course, that cruise ship has a lot more details than this one, but of course it's recognizable as it being a ship. I think probably it could have used some more colors, especially for the hull, and it's usually a good idea to have more detailed areas than just a white deck, especially for a game like Mario Kart, where everything's just full of little details. I do like the lifeboats. These submarines usually work great as lifeboats. Now here's also a go-kart track on the beach. There's lots of spare carts parked here, probably a bit too many. So these go-karts, let's quickly speed it up a bit. So yeah, the go-karts go down here on this beach. They actually make a big jump over this path. He probably it would have been better to adjust the speed of the carts a bit here with chainlets, just to make this jump more believable. Because now it just looks like they're slowly flying through the air. Here we have another go-kart, sort of a beach or a sort of a cityscape, also with other traffic driving around, called Turnpike. Yeah, I think it was a Nintendo 64 track that had traffic driving around. And here we have Waluigi Stadium. But yeah, actually you only see part of the stadium. It has been cut off, but the track is all within these bounds. Probably would have been better to have a complete stadium here with the kart track in the middle. But of course, I think it was the last track he added to the map. Not sure, but that would explain the awkward shape it has now. But overall, this is not a bad entry at all. Probably it could have used some more custom buildings made out of scenery. Alright, on to the next entry. Alright, here we have the entry from Timidator. It's kinda cool how he actually went completely different route. So yeah, he basically has 4 tracks inside a big stadium with these grandstands all around in the corners. And the go-karts all leave from these buildings here. So yeah, there's an ice go-kart track, there's a sand go-kart track with some desert scenery, there's a road go-kart track, and there's some muddy go-kart track with twomps on it. Let me fix the weather. So yeah, what I actually kind of like is how all the tracks meet up here in the middle. Here they all jump over the water, and yeah, when there's many karts here, it gets really chaotic. I also kind of like how the tracks are intertwined. But yeah, other than that, I think the tracks aren't really decorated that much. Of course, that's also difficult when there's so little space left to actually decorate them. So yeah, cool ideas, but I think it could have been decorated a bit more. But yeah, overall, it's just really, I just really like the chaos in this map. Alright, here we have the entry by DDD Robbie. Once again, completely different map. So yeah, this map actually has a lot of cool ideas, but in my opinion, some things don't really fit in with each other. It just looks like a loose collection of ideas in some parts. Let me just show you some of the tracks to show what I mean. So here we have a track on the beach. Let me quickly select it to see what's called. It's the Game Boy Advance Shy Guy Beach. So yeah, actually I kind of like the layout of this track. So yeah, some nice beach islands. I think the islands could have used a little bit of height variation. Not sure if the actual track has it, but it would have probably made the islands look a little bit more interesting. Some nice little buildings here. I like this custom palm tree with coconuts. That's actually pretty cool. There's also a ship here that shoots cannonballs. Actually a junior coaster car. Probably a brake section right here. And it's kind of cool how they shoot out of this dinghy slide tube. Also the boat looks quite nice. It's a bit blocky on the backside, but the front of the boat looks pretty cool. Here we have another area, sort of in a canyon setting, the Badlands it's called. And there's these red rocks. I think the transitions between the rocks look quite sharp. Could have probably been done a little bit smoother. But yeah, it's I think the canyon actually it does look quite good. So yeah, lots of mine train coaster track which the go-karts travel on. Also some nice buildings here. And here's another track with it's called Wetwood Raceway. Again on a mine train coaster track. And it's quite a small track here. But yeah, the decorations look quite nice. And then here we have a baby park track. To be honest, this track does look quite blocky. It could have probably benefited from some smoother corners like this. It would have already made it a lot better. Of course, it's kind of difficult to make nice fences around it, but there's probably ways with track and texture that could have helped here. What I didn't like here was that actually this baby park is much brighter than the rest of the park, so it just doesn't really look like it fits in here. Also, the roof could have probably used some arches over it just to make it look more complete. I do like the coaster here. I think it actually follows the layout of the real coaster in the park quite well. And there's also quite a cool Ferris wheel here. I think it was copied from Ferris wheel someone made in one of the previous rounds. But it does look quite cool. What's this? Wetwood miner. Alright, so yeah, overall it has just lots of cool parts, but I think the part over here with the baby park just really looks very different from the rest. And all in all, I think the park could have just used a bit more polishing here and there. But overall, again, this is not a bad entry at all. Good work. Alright, here we have the entry made by Link74. So yeah, he has 4 tracks. I will show you the tracks. Obviously, this is the first one you will see. It's a go-kart track here on the side of a mountain. I kind of like how the mountain looks, and the racetrack is also pretty cool. The go-karts going around it. I think he actually used dueling go-karts, like I showed in one of my tutorial videos. Yeah, it looks pretty nice, but what I don't really like here is the big amount of gumdrops that are spammed here, some of which actually look like they're floating on the side of the mountain. When you use these gumdrops for rocks, you should really not put too many of them. It's better to have more trees than it is to have too many of these gumdrops and mints. They work as rocks, but not when spammed too much. Here we have another one of those battle tracks, just like Trumafarium made. This one's called Balloon Battle. You can actually see some balloons here and just go-karts driving around. I think it's in a continuous circuit mode, just so there's always karts driving around here. And here we have a little village. I like all the colorful buildings here. That's really nicely done. They are a bit all in the same format though, but I think there's enough variation to make it look cool. Alright, and that were the first 3 tracks. And then here, up in the sky, we have this rainbow road. I actually can only see it well from one angle, and I have to zoom out a bit. Actually, let's just zoom in on the track. So yeah, the track is actually made with lots of multi-dimension coaster trains, all in different colors. Yeah, those actually make up the track here. I think it's actually quite a cool effect. It does look a bit too glitchy for my taste, but I think it's a really original idea to have the go-karts race on top of these multi-dimension coaster cars. And since they're so wide, it actually looks like a track. So yeah, that's a really cool idea. So yeah, it's a nice park, a bit too many gumdrops for my liking, but some really cool ideas used in this park. Alright, in 5th place we have this park made by The Shack. He did a lot better than he did in his last contest. So yeah, once again, for go-kart tracks. Let's start here. We have a little pirate village with some pirate ships going around. There's some sharks going around here at high speed and some eels as well. So yeah, the go-karts go through this complicated track doing some jumps. There's also some pipes under the water here. The water I think is a bit messy. You can see a lot of glass here under the water, kind of glitchy plants. It's probably better to just vary the ground texture underwater rather than putting lots of square objects here. I think it doesn't really help. So if I remove them, you can see there's probably sand under here. And actually with textures like this you can add gradients of color, and yeah, you can be a lot more subtle. I do like the little village here. It's generally not a good idea to, with this path type, the dirt path type, to make big squares of path, because you can see they have this little railings here in the middle. So yeah, when you do this, it's usually better to just use the wooden blocks from the mine set, if you want to make these wooden platforms that are bigger, and then just make the path invisible. Also, the go-karts seem to be going right through the railings here. That's probably also not a good idea. So yeah, it's nice here, but a bit sloppy in parts, I think. Here we have another go-kart track. You can see them coming from the mountains there, driving through this section here. And I'm not sure if these go-karts are part of the same track. I think they are. Oh, looks like they're actually going into the castle here. It's kind of difficult to tell which go-kart track is which. Ah wait, these have 4 karts. So I think these go-karts are part of the castle track, yeah. Oh yeah, no, so this go-kart track actually only has 4 karts. This Kalimari Desert, and they actually race on the same track as a train, but it looks like they pass right through the train. Obviously the trains don't have collision detection, so I think I saw one user actually experimenting with putting a jet ski on the same tiles as the train was, just to make cars collide with the jet skis, because those have collision detection. But yeah, since the train was also there and the jet skis were on the same tiles, it looks like they were colliding with the trains. But yeah, that's not in this entry. So yeah, just a little go-kart track here. But it's this is really small, but it's simply decorated. And there's also a little shuttle coaster here with a minecart. Let's go to this track. So yeah, here we have a stadium. I do like the grandstand here, also, although some of these Shy Guys are pretty glitchy. I think this is sometimes difficult to select the code. Waluigi Stadium once again. So yeah, the grandstand actually looks nice. The Shy Guy is a bit glitchy, but yeah, also on the back side of this grandstand you can actually see some other walls and some roofs glitching through. So yeah, that could have probably been done a little bit better. And here in the corner of the map we have the big eye catcher, so a big castle. And in the castle there's also a big go-kart track and a haunted house, Bowser's Castle Tours, and some other random attractions. So yeah, the castle actually looks pretty nice. I don't really like all these random trees on top of the castle. It's nice to have some stuff growing there, but this looks like a random collection of trees. And it looks like they all just grow on top of the stone. If you have trees growing somewhere on top of the castle, one thing you can do is, let me see if I can make it work. For example, you could take a twist I'm not sure if this is going to work, but if you do show vehicles from other track types. Okay, I don't know exactly how I did it, but I have the mini golf on here now. So basically we now have this patch of mulch without any without the twist itself on it. Actually maybe from some angles you still see it, but now you can just copy and paste this middle track piece, and this usually works really well with trees. Okay, we may have to change the tile order a bit. But yeah, you get the idea. Maybe I can just place some trees here. But yeah, this ground works quite well for trees. Alright, I think there was enough explanation and enough about this plot. Let's go check out the next one. Alright, here we have the entry made by Otter. And well, about this entry I really like how yeah, this it actually looks really a lot like something you would really find in Mario Kart. There's lots of bright colors, many nice little decorations. For example, especially in this map, I like all the flowers here. There's bright colors, high contrast. Yeah, it just looks like something you would really find in Mario Kart. So the rock work here, it's really nicely done. It's a combination of the Goliath characters and the Egyptian ruins. I don't know why, but for some reason it's always raining in all these maps when I open them. So yeah, here's a really cool track. I think this is called Yoshi's Island Raceway. Here in the corner we have this black castle. I don't know what it's called. It was kind of difficult to find the actual rides here because the track texture wasn't named. I usually name my track texture and put underscore in front of the name. That way they all end up at the end of the list. And then it's easier to find the rides you actually named. But yeah, this one is called Grand Prix. The Dry Bones is in this big castle here. Yeah, the castle does look a bit unfinished, especially these towers. They were just simply forgotten. So yeah, that hurt Otter's score a bit. But I have to say, everything here does look quite nice. So like this little stands here with the Shy Guys and the Dry Bones on top. And there's lots of little nice decorations. I also really like the plants here. Again, behind the castle it looks a bit empty. He probably just forgot about this area here. Here we have Boo, what's it called? Ghost Valley. Some nice buildings here. Again, some grand tents with Shy Guys on it. So yeah, the tracks actually looks quite cool. It looks like one of those Ghost Valleys from the Super Nintendo version of Mario Kart. Lots of boos flying around, and I'm guessing that in the second round they actually use this shortcut. The area does look quite empty here. I'm not sure if anything else should or could have been added to it. This park actually also has a nice little area here in the middle, sort of a plaza that connects to all of these kart tracks. That's pretty cool. And here in the corner we have this Piranha Plant Parkway. I think that's an original track. Not sure. But yeah, it looks like a little jungle area with lots of piranha plants. I like the little buildings here, and what I like most is actually how the plants look. So it looks very tropical. It actually looks sort of cartoony, which is really good. I also really like the fences that he made around the track. So yeah, lots of stuff that I like. This is probably the park that feels the most like Mario Kart. But yeah, some parts sadly were not really finished, so that probably hurt his score a bit. Alright, here we have the entry that got 3rd place. This one's made by Mamarias. He always does very well in these contests. Well, obviously the first thing you see when you open this map is this giant boo over here. I think that's really cool. So yeah, when you see the go-karts here, they actually spiral upwards into the boo. And then if we use cutaway view, you can actually see there's actually sort of a track inside here. It is kind of difficult to see what's going on here because of the cutaway view. Looks like they're just randomly spiraling up, but oh yeah, they're actually going on this track here when they go down again. Then in the end they spiral downwards again into this little castle over here, surrounded by the graveyard and some boos. But yeah, the giant boo is once again a great track texture from Mamarias. He really likes doing all these big things with track texture. One thing you'll also see here, of course, is the big castle over here. I don't know what the track in it is called, but it's called Haunted Mansion. So yeah, again, boos flying around here, this time made with bumper boats. And there's a go-kart track going throughout this entire castle. I'm not sure if this castle was based on any existing tracks from the Mario Kart series. What I didn't really like was how low the roofs actually are. I think it would have looked better if there was more wall visible and less roof. But again, I don't know if this was based on an existing Mario Kart track. But yeah, I didn't particularly like this castle. But again, you can see a lot of time and effort was put into it. I do like these roofs made with a mix of these poles and track texture. It's pretty cool. Also, this tower looks pretty epic. So yeah, lots of good stuff in this castle. I think a few layers of wall under it would have made it look even better. But yeah, that's just my opinion. I do really like these Yoshis that are colored gray and used as gargoyles. That's pretty cool. And here in this corner we have this epic ship. I really like the way this looks. You can see Wario here steering the ship. And there's a little pirate town right here under the boo. I really like the way this pirate town looks. That's really epic. Also really like the wall here leading up to the castle. That's all these volcano pieces, and that's done really well. It mixes really well with the rock work here and the plants. They all just look really nice. This is probably my favorite part of the park, this corner over here with the ship. He also used a looping coaster train for a giant eel. The expansion set actually has a giant eel train, and it probably would have looked better if he also used it. And then finally, here in the corner, we have this Ghost Valley track. Again, looks a bit like what you would expect in a Super Nintendo Ghost Valley track. Alright, let's continue on to the next map. Okay, yeah, I actually also joined this contest. I got second place with this entry. So yeah, this is the Mario Kart Dragon Cup, as I called it. So guests enter the park here, and the first track they see is Wiggler's Beach. So yeah, they enter through this cabana style building. They immediately go into these tubes here and end up in an underwater section. I actually cut out this section, so yeah, you can see the water ends here, but you can see boats sailing on top of here. That was just to signify that this part was underwater. You can also see the eels that I just mentioned swimming around here, and some sharks as well. Also put a boat here and some chests, just some underwater scenery. So yeah, the go-karts go through this underwater section. They end up here again on the beach. There's these crabs walking around, which they can collide with. So it's a little shortcut here. And here I made a big wiggler. Made it with pumpkins and some gumdrops to act as shoes. So yeah, the track's called Wiggler's Beach, so I also needed a wiggler here, and that's this guy with his smiley face. Here we have a little cabana eating area. Here you can buy bloopers tentacles. It's another one of those areas here where you can buy fruity fruit. In this area over here we actually have an active volcano. So yeah, if you've played Mario Kart Wii, I think, there's Grumble Volcano. So yeah, that's also what this track is called. I used many volcano pieces here from the expansions, together with lots of fire, some dead trees, and lots of volcano pieces around it from the Martian set. So yeah, I actually kind of liked the way this looks. I also made some junior coaster cars on invisible track, which look like the podoboos or lava bubbles, as they're called in some games, that are jumping around here. I was really happy with the way this looked. I also crashed some coaster trains here just to add some smoke effects. But yeah, I was kind of happy with the way this looked. Here we have Neo Lakitu City. It was kind of based on Neo Bowser City, but with some different colors. So yeah, I used the green, pink, and purple, dark purple, some black, just to well, yeah, I think these colors really combine well together. I'm also using a different palette, by the way, you may have noticed, but it gives all the greens a bit of a bluish tint. Also the water has a different color, which is a little bit more, yeah, it's a bit more blue than normal. I really like this palette. It gives some epic colors that I really like to use. Anyway, here you can see a small city with some big buildings, and the go-karts just go all around between these buildings. I used a lot of monorail walls here, and yeah, just lots of glass, and there's lots of layering on the windows, lots of track texture. It was actually really fun to make this city. It's probably the part that I spent most time on. And here on top of the building you can see the ceremony for the winners of the kart competition. You can see a sort of a grandstand here, and then here you can see Bowser, Luigi, and Mario who are celebrating their victory. Alright, and then finally here on top of the mountain, you may have already seen it. Here you can actually see Dragon Driftway, or at least my interpretation of the track. So yeah, the go-karts start here on this platform next to this Asian style temple, and they drive downwards on top of this dragon called Gobblegut. So yeah, actually the dragon is used as the racetrack. They drive around this mountain, and then here they drive on top of the dragon again. Then here they drive around another temple, after which they go on top of the dragon again, before they return back to the start. This was actually really fun to make, and many people in the reviews wrote that I really like the dragon track. So yeah, I think it worked out really well. It's quite a unique idea I had. I'm glad that it worked out. Alright, now that we've seen this, let's continue on to the winner of this round. Alright, here we have the winner of this round. This entry was made by Mackett, once again with a huge score, and again with an incredible build. So yeah, actually in the middle of the map you can see this ship, I think, called the Nexus, and it connects to all these different lands, each of which represents a different theme. So for example, here we have the pirate area. You can see this fort here with shy guys manning cannons, some pirate buildings. Amazing layering on these buildings, by the way. You can see a shipwreck here. That looks really cool. It's also a train station, I think, or it looks like. I think I saw the train stop here. Yeah, it's actually a station. And here you can also see this amazing pirate ship. I mean, this looks amazing, with all the sails made of different track pieces. It's just a great ship, one of the best I've seen, especially without using custom scenery. That's amazing. Great trees here as well. What I probably like most here is this fort, and how these sandstone skyscraper filler pieces are used as pillars placed against the wall. I mean, you never really see people use expansion objects, but I like how people use them in my contests and make them look great. It's amazing. So yeah, this is probably a piece I will also add to my workbenches, because these pieces, I really like them. Here we have a bit of an Asian section. Really like all the temple pieces, and the plant work also looks great. Also some Asian temples here. The only nitpick I had about this entry was that the roofs have all these holes in them, because they're made of wooden coaster track pieces, and usually works best if you put some of the monster truck track on top, like this. So yeah, if you put the monster truck track on top, then it usually already looks a lot better. And then you get rid of the holes in the roof. Once again, it starts raining. Alright. So yeah, that's really the only nitpick I had on this map. I kinda like how this map is divided into 4, or well 5 if you also count the middle. And the ground that has disappeared has simply been filled with these wooden blocks colored black. I mean, maze pieces with the brick walls could have also been used, but this is probably a bit less time consuming. Here we also have this cool part made with the canyon pieces. Of course, Mackett made this, so it must have some red sand somewhere. I recently made a tutorial on how to make good looking canyons with the help of Mackett, so be sure to check that out if you also want to create cool red canyons. But yeah, awesome work here. And here we have a little urban area. So yeah, Mackett actually named all these buildings. This is Swag Inc. named after Swag Titties, Supra LLC, Skifa Tag, and DKMP Publishing. So yeah, there's lots and lots of cool stuff. Also, again, I love how these sandstone skyscraper fillers were used here in this building. That just looks amazing. So yeah, these were all the entries for this round. We only got 10 entries, but there were some amazing ones once again. Yeah, if you want to see these entries for yourself, I really recommend it. You can download them from my Discord server. Simply join my Discord server. The link's in the video description. And then if you go to the contest archive, then there's a link where you can download all these entries. Becoming a member is free, so there's no strings attached. You only need to have a Discord account. Alright, that was it for this round. The next round will be a lot easier again, for sure. Just so we have more people, so more people get a chance at entering this. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you again in the next one. See you later.